Hello everyone! Today I will be showing you how easy it is to add an enemy to our game with minimal coding. So in here I have one example of an enemy that I'll be adding, which mind you is not the real enemy that will be in the game, but today is just for demonstrations. So this is the Arachnet, and the first thing that we do is I go here on my prefabs and my enemies, and this is the prefab for an enemy, which is basically just a template that will have all the elements that an enemy has. So it has art, has detection for you to click it with the mouse or with the fingers on the cell phone. It has the HP count and so on. So what we will be doing today is, first of all, I will be creating a scriptable object for enemy. And a scriptable object is nothing more than just a holder for different kinds of information. So we have here for the art of the enemy, his health, his zone in the board, so the green zone, the blue zone, or the red zone. His movement, if he'll walk 1 unit or 2 units or more. His name, here's a list of all the enemies, and in here we have a list of attacks. So a front row attack, which are the attacks that will happen when the enemy is in the red zone, a middle row attack for the blue zone, and the back row attacks for the green zone. So the first thing we'll do is I'll create an animator controller, which I can call whatever I want. I'll call it Arachnet. And I will use the art on our prefab enemy to test it. So I'll just drag it here, and as you can see, it has no animations. So I'll create one, and I'll just call it Arachnet as well. And I can just select the frames that I want, and I can drop it in the timeline. So I'll add one more at the end. So this enemy has 6 frames right now. So I'll just drag it for, let's see, 36 frames, and let's see how it goes. Yeah, it's going, but I think it can be a little bit faster. So let's just reduce it for 30 frames, which is half a second in the game. And yeah, that looks good enough. Okay, so now, since this enemy will have only one animation, it's basically ready, but if it has more animations, I can just add new clips here. So I'll go on my newly created scriptable object. I'll just rename it to Arachnet, and I can just drag it here, and this is the setup for the art. Now for the HP, for the health points, for an example here, I'll just put it 80. His destination in here is the X position, the horizontal position on the desired zone. So if I want this enemy to be in the blue zone, the X position for that is -1.1. But if I wanted it to be on the red zone, I would put here -5.5. And in the green zone, I would just put 3.3. And this already has all the logic for the enemy to move. So for the enemy name, I will just select Arachnet. And for the front row attacks, this enemy does not have any front row attacks, so it can just leave it empty. And just like that, it has also no back row attacks. So I'll select in the middle row attack. Just as an example, I'll put a basic attack, but I could put any other attacks that are in this list. The actual Arachnet will have the cast web attack, but for simplicity's sakes, I'll just put a basic attack. And just like that, the enemy is pretty much ready. I can delete the prefab, and I'll just go to the enemy movement script. These are all the main scripts of the game for the enemy movement, for the attacks, for the hero's turn, which are the girls. So if I just go here and go in this list, which has the normal enemy for level 2, the basic ones, it already has the 3 ones that we have seen, the Caterpillar, the Cutterfly, and the Blockroach. And if I wanted to add just another enemy, I can just add one and just drag the Arachnid here. So this is the basic setup, and I can add a new enemy with basically no code, because the scriptable object that I already coded already has all the information needed. So as you can see here, it's loading. It has all the information for the enemy, which is the names of the possible enemies, and here we have the elements. So the art, the health points, the position. Thank you, Visual Studio. The movement, and all the elements that are for basically most enemies are already here. So if there's an enemy that is quite different from this template that I showed you, like the Garmillion, which changes the zone based on color, we have to do a little bit more work. But for a simple enemy like the Arachnid, it's basically ready. So if we just start the game, let's see if it's working quite well or not. Okay, let's just skip this initial part and let's see if the enemy, and as you can see, the enemy is so one other thing that I didn't put was the movement. So we can have it having 0 movement, which means it will not move. So the boulder enemy is like that, or you can have enemy moving 2 units. So, but in this case, we'll just use 1. So if everything is correct now, so let's just skip this initial part, and as you can see, we have our enemy here. So let's just, for the sake of this video, I'll remove all other enemies, just leave the Arachnid, and if we did everything correctly, he should not attack me in the green zone and only do a basic attack on the blue zone. Let's see. So he did not attack me, or another one appeared here, and let's see if he will attack me now, which he should. And as you can see, he did attack the Sword Woman, and everything seems to work. So for avoiding more spoilers, I will stop the video now. But if you liked it, you can subscribe to my channel and like the video. And if you have any other things you'd like to see, you can just let me know in the comments. Thank you.